Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to With Mo 3Times. It's a show where interviews casually throw on sweatpants. Get comfortable. Kick off their shoes, wiggle their toes, and transform into real conversations. And today, I'm introducing a guest who hails from the land of the Beatles, bangers and mash, and brilliant storytelling. Liverpool's very own Richie Billing. I hope he forgives me for the accent. Anyway, Richie isn't just any author. He's the brain behind Pariah's Lament. It's a fantasy novel that packs both punch and politics. And also, Together We Rise. A revolutionary little novella, but it has big ideas. And his work isn't afraid to dig deep, whether into lore, leaders, or the messiness of rebellion. Basically, if Tolkien, a political science major, had a love child, Richie would probably be babysitting it. Now, here's the part where I have to confess, because I can't be lying to you guys. At the time of this interview, I hadn't actually read his books. Yes, I know. It's a rookie move. It was a scheduling thing. But hey, it's also a brand new beginning and a new chapter for me too. And going forward, I really do fully intend to crack open the cover before cracking open the mic. You dig? Now, this whole thing started because for the past couple of years, as you know, We Live has been steeped in politics, kind of like a tea bag that refuses to leave the cup, just stuck. And don't get me wrong, politics do matter, and We Live is going to be there. It's going to get bigger and better. That's right. I will see you Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. But I also wanted to mix it up, branch out, talk to folks, people who weren't running for office or running from scandals, just people, creators, dreamers, thinkers, kind of like myself. So for your listening and or viewing pleasure, because we're inclusive like that, here's my conversation with Liverpool's very own Richie Billing. Enjoy. All right. So, Richie, I have not read any of your works. Like, honestly, just from, the small type of conversations that we've had so far, I definitely want to have you back because I know I'm going to dig into your craft right now. But I think you have 2 books?
Right, yeah, I do have 2 fiction books. I've got a novel called Pariah's Lament.
Pariah's
and
Lament?
I've got a new novella which came out in March called Together We Rise. And that is a bit of a topical one because it's about a revolution against the corrupt governments. I think a lot of us are feeling like we want to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So Pariah's Lament, it still has the same political theme and everything to it?
No, that's more of, it is. There is a political angle to it because it's basically a story that showcases the stupidity of war and how people, like whole countries, can go to war, thousands of people can die just because 2 individuals don't like each other, which happens an awful lot. It's just personalities and like stupid, like personal views or like political views as well. It's just like if you resort into violence to sort something out, then something's gone badly wrong. And that's what Pariah's Lament was about. It's just like the ridiculousness of going to war and seeing firsthand the victims who have to actually put up with it. So that was what that one was about.
All right, so I admit it, I haven't read it, but it seems like it's a type of work where it's probably something small, like starts like just chaos, insanity, oblivion, just over like something as small as the flapping wings of a butterfly can start a typhoon. Is it that type of?
It pretty much is. Yeah, it's like basically something that happened a long time ago between a woman and the 2 rivals in it. That's what started it all off.
Wow.
Like so many of us are sort of swooned by love, aren't we?
Yes.
We always care. get
Yes.
caught up in
so when you're
fisticuffs
writing,
because of a woman.
is it like, are you writing any of these? Are these characters driven from like any type of personal experiences, or any of the plots, or is it coming from
No,
personal, or is it just historical references?
I do try and avoid basing characters off real people because it does get me in trouble.
Oh wow!
some people, I've done it like as a nice thing for some people, and they've just sort of rebelled against me and said, "I'm not like this person. Is this what you think I am?"
Oh wow!
So you get into trouble doing that. But I think a little bit of you ends up in a lot of characters, like a lot of main characters as well, and it's hard to avoid that. And then naturally, like you tend to write about things that relate to your life without you realizing. So I tend to write a lot of stories where there's like no sort of mentor figure. And that's generally because I was raised by a single parent, and my dad wasn't really around, so I didn't have that figure. So Pariah's Lament is about like a young guy he's like the advisor to a king, and his dad was like a celebrated hero of the nation, and he was the sort of key advisor to the king, and he was training his son to take over when he sort of stepped back. But his dad dies a lot sooner than anticipated, and then he has to fill his shoes. So again, like I didn't really think about it at the time, but that was a lot to do with sort of my relationship with my dad. It's quite interesting how things sort of naturally filter through into your writing.
I like it. Your experience kind of seeps out into your, your pen, and exactly it's filtering through. Like, when did you start writing? How long have you been writing?
Well, I never really wanted to be a writer, and I never sort of did it for fun or like as a pastime until I was probably like 23. So that's like 10 years ago now. And I realized I liked writing when I was in college because I would sort of move towards subjects that were essay based. And I liked writing essays, and I liked the project. And I liked polishing something and working on it and making it the best it can be. And when I left college, I didn't have that anymore, and I was a bit lost. And I was only thinking today actually about how sort of at the time I was so down, and it was because I didn't really have like a creative output. And there'd be moments where I'd be like, I feel like I need to do something, like I need to create something and get something out there, but I didn't have any idea what to do. And then you just sort of slip into almost like a bit of a state of depression because you feel almost like a bit like helpless and a bit in despair because you don't know how to be productive in this sort of creative or meaningful way. And then once I started writing, I decided I was reading a lot of fantasy books like George R.R. Martin, Raymond Feist, if you've ever read any of his books, and like they sort of blew me away. And I've realized, like, I decided, I suppose, that I would like to try something myself and try and replicate for other people the amazing things that they've given me in their stories. So once I started, I just absolutely loved it, and I've never really stopped. It's become a bit of an obsession.
I like it. Like I'm sold. Like the more you talk, the more I'm sold on getting these books. It seems that you're like authentically passionate about what you're doing, and I love how you just spoke about like the frustration and the depression that you had trying to figure out your creative outlet.
Yeah, it's I don't know about you, but I think it's a big problem for a lot of people. Like, I suppose this ties in with the new novel, novella Together We Rise, like the political angle. And I know that you're very interested in politics. And I think at this point, I've been thinking a lot about it because I've recently bought this book and I've started reading it, and it's called Underdogs. And it's specifically about white working class people in Britain. And I don't know how much you know about like politics in this country, but there's this like sort of strange argument running through the country at the moment that white people are like second class citizens, which historically has just never been the case, and it's still not the case now. But what this book looks at is like is to say, where has this come from? Like, why does this sort of group, which has been historically very privileged, why do they feel so like isolated and ostracized? And it sort of comes back to this what you said about like a purpose, and we saw it in America as well with what Trump's trying to like try and get things like factories reopened in America and like try and get manufacturing going. Like all of that was there, and all of the bosses and the companies went, "No, it's too expensive. Let's go to China." But China got all the cheap labor, and all the factories in America closed. And now we're looking at this situation where, well, we're paying massive tariffs on stuff because we can't make it ourselves, but we used to make it. And when we got rid of all of those jobs, a lot of people just lost any ability to make money in a sort of very dog eat dogs like structure and society like that capitalism is.
Yes, it is.
And they never ever replaced those jobs. And for a lot of people, like they were the sort of main steps that they could actually get up and out of poverty. And they could actually, it would give them purpose. It would give them a reason to get up and work to build a life. Because even if your life was going to be tough, like you would your kids' lives would be better. But because they got rid of all them factories, and it's the same over here, the same thing happened in this country.
Yeah.
People just like on benefits and stuff, they've got like mass unemployment. There's no skills training, and they literally have been left behind. There's like, I remember seeing like a statistic not long ago, and this was to do with the war on drugs in America, and it was basically saying that like because of like the lack of manufacturing and stuff, there's like 20% of the American population they just don't need. So what they do is they create a private prison system and make money from putting people in prison and having like really strict drug laws, which are just racist laws, to put people in prison.
Yeah.
Because they don't need them, so they're just going to make money off them.
Definitely.
And it's, when you look at all these things, it's easy to see why people are so pissed off and why they're sympathetic towards Trump. But it's people like Trump who have created the problems in the first place. And it's just a weird like society that we're in now where the evil overlords are in control, but we're all worshipping them like God.
You kind of, you're talking something real. Usually that happens. I get a little buffer with people. It has to be the powers at sea or something like that. But I agree with you. And I think really what happened, and then we're going to talk about, it causes crime and absolutely more poverty. But what those factory jobs did was basically allow someone to just have a high school education, have a livable wage, and then put their family in a position where their next generation had an opportunity to go to college. All right. They had an opportunity to have a home, a little lawn, something of their own. And then once those jobs leaves, once those skills are no longer needed, those people really you don't have like you said, any purpose. And now it goes back into school because now you don't even have a motivation to learn, because what good is a degree when, you're not going to have a job anyway. And really what happened was, I don't know, like they sold out, management sold out the workers, for bonuses and raises, and they ultimately sold their jobs down the ladder. I watched, there is, what is his name? Do you know of he's an American documentarian. His name is Michael Moore. He's done like Capitalism, Sicko, stuff like that. Do you watch those type of documentaries? Yeah. When they break down that there was I think it was a big bank sent a letter of, how they were going to take over the world. And they were saying that, hey, we're rich. We're going to make these people think that like, they can be like us and they can be in the top 1% with us. That's going to motivate them to basically put the clamps on, the rest of the 80, 90% down in the bottom rung. And ultimately, it's a scam. It's a scam, and you're young
Yeah.
you're young, but I mean, even when I was going through school, like of course, we had this American dream, this like patriotism about it, but like I was starting to see the cracks and stuff, and then when I got into my 20s, I'm really realizing that man, I can't buy a CD anymore. I don't own this movie that I've purchased from Amazon Street. Like I own nothing. And then in America, I own a house, but I gotta pay taxes on it forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm always going to be beholden to.
Well, it's like a trap, isn't it? Like this, the way it's set up. Because if you think about it, like you said, when you're in school, they push you towards college, and then you go to college, you come out with loads of debt, and then what they say, you need to get a job now to pay off the debt. So then you start working, and then once you're sort of growing up, they start pushing you towards getting a house and getting a mortgage. Then you do that, and then you get even more debt. So then you have to work to pay off 2 massive debts in your life. And it's a trap almost, because you've got no other choice. You've got to carry on contributing to the system.
It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember on my 30th birthday when it hit me, like, oh man, I'm probably going to be working forever. And I broke down. I was inconsolable for about 15 minutes, like when I realized, oh man,
yeah,
I'm a prisoner.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like that. I mean, obviously, you can try and find something that you love to do that pays. But I mean, there's very few things that are like that, and the system sets up where it's like if you don't work and you don't earn money, then you basically get trampled on by everyone else, and you get discarded. So there's no space or room for anyone to sort of explore and try new things.
You have to work that second job to make your dream. If you want to be like a chef, to buy your knives, you're gonna work 2 times as hard. Like I do my show, and one Wednesday show that I do that's live for preparation can take anywhere between 4 to 12 hours. So like that's like having a second job. But I love to do it, and you just have to. Even the politics withstanding, I feel like you would probably have to. I'm trying to work this out in my head, and it's the math isn't math. And I think we could probably have a different way of doing things. Do you think that most of the political upheaval, the issues that we have in our society, is it based on capitalism?
I think it's the main desire, isn't it? I mean, a lot of sometimes everything comes back to money and the bottom line, and this sort of transactional nature where it's like, I'll only do it if I get this. No one really does anything just for, I'll just do it because I want to help. Like, you could probably count on one hand the last, like, how many times people have done that for you, like just nice things, just because it's the right thing to do. But I do think it's the way we're sort of brought up, educated, and it's a very transactional life, isn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah. But I mean, just simple changes in life. I mean, I don't think we should be working 5 days a week. I mean, like, there should be a balance, really. Like 4 days, 3 days, even.
I'm with 3 days.
Yeah, and just imagine like what that would do to people if they had all this free time to do other things, like just simple things, like they would have time and more energy to like look after the house more, like paint and like do the garden and stuff like that. So immediately all of the areas would sort of upgrade almost, because people have time to invest in things that they don't have time for otherwise. And like doing things like volunteering and giving back to the community, I think, well, it's set up, it's like we're all running. Oh, people say the rat race, isn't it? It's basically what it is. We're all like a horse race. We're all running in a line trying to get to the end.
Yeah.
And
we know how this ends.
Yeah.
Like, you know how this ends.
it'd be amazing just to like have the freedom just to take. I mean, that's why I like COVID so much. I mean, I hated the virus, but the idea of everyone just pressing pause and just taking a step back, I think it did everyone so much good. It's a shame that we have to go through a global pandemic to realize them things. I mean, there should just need to be more of a balance. It's not really a fair system. And who's it benefiting? You mentioned there the 1%. It's benefiting them. They're the only ones.
But also, you see post-COVID how fast everything got right back to business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much money all them rich people made off the back of COVID.
Oh yeah. We got we got these stimulus checks. So they sent us extra money that basically everybody used on Amazon. And I was like, you guys know what? They were like so excited. I was like, you don't want this check. We are going to pay this back tenfold. Best believe. And here we are. We're paying it. So, all right. So I'm looking forward to your books because I like your perspective when it comes to politics and how you feel about being creative in your art. Do you think that there is a solution to all of these issues? Do you have any type of roadmap of how we may get there? You're young. You're about to inherit. You are inheriting this world as a functioning adult. In America it's like 18 when you're an adult, but me, I am about to turn 44. I did not feel like an adult till I was like 33. A grown-ass man.
I'm starting to feel like an adult now. That's how old I am. I'm 33.
Right.
But so you're not that much older than me. You're still young.
There. Yeah, I know. I believe me. I know I'm still young. But it's amazing. You're getting into that time where it's like, I appreciate that you're thinking about it. Like thinking about these things. Is it just you, or are you an anomaly of your generation, or is this something that you and your friends talk about and their friends talk about?
No, I think a lot of people do. You do feel it, and it's really heartening for me to see so many people like rising up against like corruption and injustice. I was just chatting to someone today from Bangladesh, and they've just had a revolution there, which was pretty amazing. And I was chatting away, basically trying to see if we could get my new book over there, because it's basically on topic. And they're apparently the big fantasy and sci-fi fans in Bangladesh, so hopefully I can make that happen. But in terms of like discussing it with friends, I've got friends who do like it. People are always it's difficult to discuss politics. I mean, I try not to get bogged down in like left and right, but I like to look at issues, and I do spend a lot of time thinking about I do think this is a big problem for like the left and like socialist politics and stuff like that. It's very fractured. Everyone's got their own opinion on what they would like the world to be like, and they don't really care much for anyone else's view, which is a massive, massive issue. And they don't really put forward any ideas or solutions, really. And it's hard to really get behind a movement that isn't very creative. So, like, I do spend a lot of time thinking about like how and what the world would look like if it was different. And for me, I think the answer's there, and it's in the form of the way Christianity rose up. And I don't know much about like the Catholic Church, which emerged in ancient Rome, but basically it was introduced to control politically the direction of the empire. So, and the way they did that, stories and stuff like that, obviously, and then like the basis for me is like the Ten Commandments. It always comes back to that, and a lot of religions come back to like these sort of overarching rules about how to live your life. And I think as a concept, it's great because we can, as a globalized world now, everyone's different, everyone's unique, but we can all probably agree on a a shared set of norms, or like sort of rules, a bit like the Convention of Human Rights, something like that, like along them lines. And then what we do is we create them a movement that spreads to every part of the country. And if we all agree that this is what we want the world to be like, then we can create political movements in different countries to pursue these goals and do it peacefully. It doesn't have to be a revolution. Like you do in my story, just smash everything up. But I do think it's possible. But it's going to be hard to unite people behind common causes and goals. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's possible?
I agree. I think always the best way to start or get anything done is to work on the things that everybody overwhelmingly agrees is an issue.
Yeah.
Right. And then you work there, work there. It's been I don't know, like I've observed that it works, but then you're going to get to the impasse of when you're going to get to that point when no one agrees. And sometimes once you get to that point where, there's no one agreeing and there's a lot of conflict, then that kind of just destroys everything that you built up to that point.
Yeah.
At any rate, we still got to try. We still got to do something. We just can't sit here. I also think that it's going to take more than, hit and share. And I think hitting share is always the best. Likes are always good, but just hit and share so everybody can be, everybody can understand what's going on and what the issue is. But I also think we're going to get to the point where the internet is going to be kind of pointless. Because with AI and no one knows what to believe anymore. It's so easy to lie, especially over here in the United States. To just, and I'm probably saying most of the world. It's so easy to lie that people aren't going to rely on that. And I don't know, maybe humanity just resets to their base setting. And I have never seen what that base setting looks like, but I think we're possibly going to see it.
As the world gets bigger, like how do you manage? Like imagine if there was no countries, it was all just one. Like it's crazy to think like how you would even manage that. And probably like localize, like going more localized and creating like smaller communities that are more united and like to cohabit and interact with each other a bit more, I suppose, maybe. But it's hard to see how it will evolve and change.
Do you like watching movies? Like, do you watch any sci-fi or anything like that? Is there any like futuristic location from any movie? What do you think the world is going to look like in 50 years? Is it going to look like Mad Max? It's going to look like
just a desert island.
Yeah, Dune. It's going to be like some Blade Runner type stuff.
Oh, 50 years. It's hard to really think. I just kind of think like it's going to look like some kind of Call of Duty game.
Oh, wow.
Everyone's just killing each other with drones.
With drones. Scary. They always show the drones. In all the futuristic movies, that is probably the scariest thing.
Yeah.
Like a Minority Report, you got those.
I mean, it's scary what they can do now. I mean, all the stuff that's been going on with Gaza and Israel and reading. I wrote a story actually about this, and I read reports from people who were in Gaza, and they were talking about the drones. They call them Zanzana, and basically there's just a perpetual buzz of the drones overhead. And as soon as that noise stops, that's when they panic because they know the drone has found a target and the airstrike's going to be coming in soon. So, like, that's just a sound.
Wow.
Like, the sound of the drone. I mean, as a writer, it's like you can really use that to, like, put people in the scene and like, give them a real idea of what it's actually like to be there. And I think it comes back to what we were saying and like, how do you change people's minds because they're sort of desensitized to seeing all these things on the news. And like you say, sharing things, it's great, but it's not always enough. And I think you have to sort of change an entire culture. And it has to sort of like be in books, has to be in TV shows, films, music. And they all have to sort of project a vibe or a theme, like a bit like 60s and 70s. Like I really love like jazz and sort of like blues from like 60s America.
Right.
Because there was a real sort of political motivation behind that. And it was so powerful in uniting people and spreading message. And I think there definitely needs to be more of that now. There's absolutely fuck all. Really, when you think about it, it's just all chart music and pop music, and
it's all music to make you spend.
Yeah, very controlled. And like back then, people were making these amazing things. I was just thinking about like Fela Kuti and stuff like that in Nigeria. It was like started the whole political movement,
right.
United people with music.
With music. And you know what? That's a beautiful reminder. But that's really why we're here, because that's what changes society. That's what changes culture, is the art. The biggest part, and it all comes together with journalism, with books, music, and definitely movies. Everybody's gonna watch something. And there's always, little messages and, how we should behave or what's to come. And these themes have the ability to shape our society. And you were talking about the Roman Church, and it's crazy that you brought that up, because Pope Francis, he is gone at 88. You got any opinions on the Pope?
Well, he was meant to be one of the better popes. I mean, I was raised a Roman Catholic, and I went to church until I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be an altar boy and everything, so I used to like be the priest's little assistant on the altar.
Okay.
And I've sort of lived that life, and I don't really believe in God as they define it now. I'm quite a spiritual person. I believe there's more to life than the physical world, but I'm not like a sort of subscriber to the church anymore. I think it's really interesting. Have you seen the film Conclave?
I have not. Recently. That's with Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, watch that. It's so good.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah, it's very topical to watch now at the moment.
Is that more of like I don't know, what other movie was it? Like Spotlight, when are they talking about the priests? Were they doing things untowards?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not like that. This is basically what is going to happen now with the election of the next pope.
Oh.
So they bring together the conclave, and so it's all the ministers from all over the world.
They all
the cardinals. Sorry, the cardinals. Yeah,
and they're going to choose another pope, right? And then they vote, and then they put it in the chimney, and the smoke comes up. If it's black smoke or white smoke or something, like they've chosen. I know that because of what are those books? The
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, and the one before the prequel. Love that one. I think. Damn it! The guy who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi is in it. He plays.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor plays the Pope. He's jumping out of helicopters, whatever. Yeah. See, I learned most of my stuff from movies and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how.
Watch Conclave, because you'll learn loads. You'll learn what happens, but it's very political, and there's a lot of things that go on in the background, which make it very interesting.
I like it. Nice little drama, dialogue driven.
It is. It's. I mean, one thing that always struck me about the church is, I don't know if you've ever thought this when you were going to church, when you were a kid and stuff, is everything's big, everything's grand, everything's golden, but everyone's going on about like helping poor people and like stuff like that, and it's just like such a massive contradiction. And then when you go to Rome and you see this huge cathedral, there's gold everywhere, there's people flooding in, like paying loads of money to be there and stuff like that, and it's like, well, I think something's been a bit lost there along the way. You know what I mean? Like, why are you just hoarding all this cash and not really like helping anyone? It's just a bit.
They said there's like 8 miles long of African artifacts that are underneath Vatican City. Even like in the catacombs and stuff like that. Hey, I was just wondering, like when I think about this, I had a thought. I was like, people get upset and say the Jews killed Jesus, and I was like, but wasn't it the Roman soldiers that
Pontius Pilate?
Pontius Pilate, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a Jewish guy?
Pontius Pilate was a Jew himself, but
he was. Pontius Pilate was a Jew.
I don't know if he was a Jew. I know he was Roman.
I don't know.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm thinking he was.
Romans were very like accepting of faiths, though. It was very like you could believe what you want kind of thing,
right?
And like people from all over the world would serve in the army, and
right. It's like a kind of like America, basically. You got people from everywhere. I was in the military. We had people from everywhere serving in the American Army. Some type of Genghis Khan type of deal we got going on over here.
Well, it's interesting if Trump has his way. Like, wonder if he'll like go after the army as well in terms of the cuts, because he's cutting everything else, isn't he?
They just made an airplane, I believe. We just made a jet, and they have named it the F-47. Yeah.
Nice.
F-47. F number 47. That's how I feel about it. I just don't want to go to war. I love what China has been doing with these. I just love like, I'm here and I'm American. It's probably going to hurt me. But honestly, like, seriously, I'm cool with it. If we need to get spanked. We need to get spanked. And China has been doing their thing on social media. It's amazing because our president loves social media, so he's probably had to watch, and then them, spilling the beans about, hey, buddy, you think this Louis Vuitton is made in Italy? No, it's coming from China. And we're like, I've been telling people, like, I told you, like, this is where this stuff is from, but
like, I just MAGA hats are made in China as well.
Yeah, like, dummy, your MAGA hat is made in China. I got a next door neighbor. You cannot. We have, like, I take shots with her. She's my friend. But she is MAGA. She had a big ass Make America Great Again flag outside her house, and like I was trying to tell her to come on my show so we can do some type of debate. It really is gonna be. It's probably gonna be more like a roast session. I was gonna have fun, but she's a sweetheart, but she just doesn't know. And sometimes like she'll be sitting in here, and I'll be like, "Hold on, let me just show you real quick. I'll give you 3 sources. What you're saying is wrong. This is really what's happening." And she'll just be like, oh, whatever.
Why is it do you think makes her so like sure that she's right?
Because they have to be right. They just have to be right. To me, like when I look at it, it started as something social. Some people can get together, be around, their own kind, and people that kind of think like them, talk like them. They can make jokes and feel safe around one another. So I think most of the people that voted it really politically they don't care. It's more of a social thing of how you feel. Like
it's probably like this sort of forgotten generation of people where they've got no purpose and they just live in this bitter bubble, and you're basically, it's because you're in a society where like it's all about having more than someone else. So if them saying like you've got more than them, then they're going to be bitter and twisted. And
before we get out of here, let me know. Tell us about these books again. Give us a shout out.
Yeah, so if you like the sound of anything, I do have a Patreon page where you can read everything I've ever written, and I publish new stories every month. And you can download ebooks, and I create other things as well. So I create like songs, like original sounds for the different stories and concept art and stuff like that. So you can just search my name, Richie Billing, on Patreon, on Google as well. There's not many Richie Billings in the world, especially writers. So I'm not that hard to find. Yeah, it's not like I'm called like David Brown or something like if you're looking for ages. But so you can find me anywhere, and Together We Rise is the latest novella.
All right, so if I go to www.richiebilling.com, I can get those books. Can I get ebooks Can I get the ebooks?
Yeah, you can get ebook paperback.
Do you have audio?
I feel like.
Do you have audio?
Unfortunately, I don't have an audio for this one. I do have an audiobook for Pariah's Lament.
Oh, and that's the first book.
That's the first book, yeah. I might do an audiobook myself. I might just narrate it myself. Depends if people can put it with this voice.
Yeah, we can do that. And if you want like an American, just bring it over to me and I'll do the American version.
Yeah, I think you'd be good at it. Actually.
Right. Thank you. Really I appreciate it. I have a great voice, right? Top notch.
Yeah.
I'm not a singer though. Can't. No, I hate my voice, honestly.
You've got a good voice for radio. It's
talking to you right now and just talking whatever, I'm being brave. I am being brave right now. Because this shit is so scary. It's scary.
You get used to it. You're a natural for it though, because you make people feel relaxed and you're engaged and interested in them and you make really interesting points. So you're a great conversationalist. So I think you've got a good career ahead of you.
Thank you. I'll take that. We'll let you think about that. All right, shut up, children. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go to richiebilling.com. All right, so I want to read your ebook. I'm gonna read Pariah's Lament. What's the second one called again?
Together We Rise. I'll send you the copies.
Together We Rise. And I'm gonna read them. Now, I would rather just send me a link to them. I'd rather pay for them. You know what I mean? Gotta support.
No, that's what you can.
Gotta support. And then when I do that, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be great because I got through all those Game of Thrones novels, so I know I'm gonna. Is this like are we talking about 600 pages? How many pages are we talking about here?
Together We Rise is only 130 pages.
Oh shit!
Nice and fast.
Oh man, I'm gonna be wanting more.
You know, well, you
pretty sure.
Go to Patreon.
All right, so I'm gonna check that out, and then promise, please. As soon as I do that, I'm going to get in contact with you, and then we're going to talk about it. I would love to do that. All right. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Richie Billing. Yeah, I'll figure out a better way to end this next time.
That was a nice ending.
But yeah, Richie, I think you're an awesome guy. I think you're awesome. I love that you're creative. I'm sorry that I forgot. I didn't get to talk about like how you have the music within the chapters to, kind of capture. But we'll talk about when I talk about the book.
Nice to talk about the political side of it anyway, if that's what you're passionate about as well.
Yeah, so. I'm very passionate. If you catch the show, we got a little phone number. I don't know what American country code is. I think it's like 01 or some stuff like that. If you ever want to call in, talk. Yeah, because sometimes I have family members calling in. Oh shit, I didn't.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I like the idea of having a talk show. It's really good.
I appreciate you coming out. Thank you. I appreciate it, buddy. Have a great one.
Yeah, see you, Mo. See you, right. Bye.
And then Richie shows up, and he honestly, he didn't let me stray too far. But he also bought craft, he bought creativity, and we also had a little talk about religion. I mean, I think what unfolded was an honest, to be goodness conversation. You know, the kind that makes you think, laugh a little bit, and maybe even hit pause just to take it all in. I thoroughly enjoyed our chat, and I cannot wait to dive into Pariah's Lament and Together We Rise, and eventually invite Richie back for round 2. We kind of got a rematch clause going here.